What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. 2022 is over, I can hardly believe it. So much has happened this year, so many milestones, so many changes. So I'm definitely entering 2023 with nothing but gratitude and excitement. I have to say, as important as self-reflection is, I'm not the kind of guy who usually likes to look back at the past, not because I only focus on the future, but because honestly it sometimes brings me down. Not every day is sunny, and I'm grateful for every challenge that I've overcome successfully. But I do think it's important to be aware and appreciate every experience. So before starting into 2023, I'm gonna be doing a recap of 2022. And since it's already been more than a year since I uploaded my first YouTube video, which is crazy for me to even say out loud, I might even turn this into an annual thing just to keep track of the most important memories and key moments of each year, kind of saving them off in a metaphoric external hard drive, which is this video. Without much more talking about the past year, I'm just gonna go over a couple of my favorite memories and key moments that really defined 2022 to finish off that chapter with grace. So I have to say I only wrote down a couple of things on my phone. Oh wow, look, my phone matches my top, and oh, it also matches the painting. A lovely moment for my OCD. Anyways, 2022 is over. We're gonna go over my favorite moments. Let's start. First off, I want to talk a bit about travels. I love traveling, I think almost everyone does. And when I started listing all the places I've visited this year, I was quite impressed with myself. I feel so blessed that I get the opportunity to travel so much and see so much of the world. I'm gonna go chronologically, let's just dive right in. For me, 2022 started off in the sun. I was in Mexico, I was in Cancun. I know most people don't consider Cancun to be Mexico just because it's so American, but geographically it's Mexico. And when I visited for the first time in 2015, I actually took a couple of days to also go to Tulum and a few more traditional places. So we're good. I was in Mexico for the beginning of the year. I love looking back at this vacation because I remember it allowed me to escape the cloudy and dark and rainy January of Central Europe and literally recharge my batteries. I remember before I left for this vacation, I was so pale because of the lack of sun exposure I had. I literally looked like a ghost. I remember my brother telling me, "You look like a ghost." So that sunny vacation definitely hit the reset button and gave me that sunny boost to start the year correctly. Fast forward to February, I visited Venice during carnival season together with my mother. I have this trip in a very wholesome memory. I just got to spend so much quality time with my mother, and I hold it very dear to my heart. Again, it was great to just get away, I think, for 72 hours and come back with a cleared mindset. Fast forward to April, I went to Milan for the very first time. Again, with my mother, only for 3 or 4 days, walking everywhere, eating practically everything. And it was exciting to see Milan for the first time because I've always had an interest in fashion, and since it's one of the main fashion capitals of the world, it was great to have a closer look at the culture and see where a lot of big fashion houses originally came from. So, great experience. Moving on to summer, I actually took my first ever solo trip. In case you don't know, I actually spent 7 or 8 days traveling all over southern Italy by myself. This trip alone adds like 6 or 7 different places to the list, and similar to the other trips, I love looking back at it. I have so many beautiful core memories from this trip that I often look back at to give me good energy. I went to bed every night at 10 and I got up the next morning at 8. I buried myself in Italian food, met a bunch of fun people, saw great sights, and not that I didn't know it before, but this trip definitely showed me that I am enough. In the sense of I can be happy alone. I don't really need a lot of people. I don't mind sitting at a dinner table alone. It's not awkward for me. I just love spending time with myself. So if you have thought about taking a solo trip, I can only recommend it, because even though this was my first, it definitely wasn't my last. Then 2 weeks after I came back from my solo trip, I moved to Los Angeles, which is definitely the biggest step I've taken this year. But more about that later. From Los Angeles, I actually visited Palm Springs twice just because it's such a convenient getaway from the city. It's 2 hours away at max, and it's perfect, especially if you just want a change of wallpaper or a quick breather. And then in October, I also went to New York City for 72 hours. That as well was a very independent and fun trip. I remember I walked so much, but I got to see my mother there as well, and I absolutely loved seeing Manhattan in autumn. Well, that completes my traveling for 2022. I feel incredibly grateful that I get to see so much of the world. I know that traveling is a luxury and a true blessing, so I'm really appreciative and I don't take it for granted. And whenever you get the chance to, I encourage you to travel. Doesn't matter if it's alone or in a group. Just go, make new experiences. Life is short, don't overthink it. And at the end of the day, especially when you come back home, a change of scenery will always be beneficial. Moving on, let's talk about a couple of key moments, at least for me, that happened in 2022. Even though it feels so far away, it actually happened this year, or it ended this year. I completed civil service. In case you don't know, I'm originally from Austria, and in Austria, it's mandatory for men to complete military or civil service. Even though they really wanted me to join the military, I decided to do civil service. Therefore, I worked with physically, visually, and mentally impaired children for 9 months. This was definitely an experience unlike any other, and it taught me so many lessons that can only be taught through action and by life itself. So as grateful and as happy as I am to have had this experience forced onto me for 9 months because of my gender, it was very exhausting, and I'm even happier that it's over. So another great thing that happened or ended in 2022. Moving on, I released my vocal debut on all platforms in 2022. I even created a video about the entire creational process of this project, so if you haven't already, make sure to go and check it out. Already before starting to seriously think about recording a song before moving to Los Angeles, my expectations were very low, and they still are. I just wanted to have something to show to people as soon as they ask about my musical talents, and it has already paid off. It is extremely convenient, and it's genuinely something I'm proud of. So in case you're interested, I don't want to force it onto you. It's available on all platforms, and it's without a doubt something big that I got to check off my list in 2022. Then a couple of weeks after releasing that track, I moved to Los Angeles. Like I said, this is probably the biggest step I've taken this year, and I haven't regretted it a single day. The older I got, the more I felt the need to escape the European culture, just because I felt very contained, and moving to LA was definitely the right decision. I don't really know what else to say about this move, but it really feels like I'm in the right place, and life's been good. And then a bit over a month ago, I actually hit over 1,000 subscribers, and I got to monetize my YouTube channel. The financial benefits of a YouTube channel have never been my motivation, just because I genuinely enjoy creating videos for you guys and for myself. But of course, it reassures you to some extent, and it makes you feel like no matter what anyone says, you must be doing something right. Actually, another funny thing to mention before I finish things off is that I got into my first proper relationship in spring. And that relationship naturally had to end, of course, the day I moved to Los Angeles. And that definitely made the transatlantic move even more difficult, and my first few weeks in Los Angeles even more enjoyable. That was a rough time, but what can I say? It really feels like life threw everything it has to offer at me this year, and I'm stronger and more driven than ever. And with that being said, I'm starting into 2023 with nothing but excitement and gratitude. Judging from what has happened ever since I moved to LA and everything I know that's to come, I don't even know how I sleep at night. And I've definitely had a couple of moments where I just sat down, reflected, and almost pinched myself just to realize this is really my life. I hope that nothing but blessings are heading towards each and every single one of you in 2023. I wouldn't say that 2022 was my renaissance, but I can feel it happening. For those of you who don't know, Renaissance is not just a European art movement, it means rebirth. So it's all about reinventing yourself and slowly, naturally becoming a better version of yourself. All I know and all I can feel is that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, and life is somewhat finally beginning to fall into place. And that's a feeling I can't compare to anything else. Thank you so much if you've made it this far. Thank you for showing love, for showing support, and thank you for being a part of my journey. I hope everyone had a great start into the new year. Thank you so much again, and take care. Bye.